how's it going, guys? It's Kaotic TV, yet again with another video. This one, I've been debating whether or not to do it, just because the controversial topic that is presented with it. But I figured, what is the best way to understand something than to jump in and see what the different perspectives, opinions, information are about it. What I'm talking about is this whole Kanye West controversy. Kanye's always seems to be saying something controversial to bring him in the limelight, and then some type of deal or move he makes becomes really big. Yeezy brand, for example, you know, the whole basically bringing out clothes that look like they're supposed to be for homeless people. He says it's making a statement with it, type thing. Now, I wanted to watch the interview. The full one is an hour long, so we're not going to do that one. We're going to do the 13-minute one. But I think it would be really good to divulge it as fully, to go back and watch this hour-long one, so we might go back and do that. Let's jump into this one. This one's with Tucker Carlson.
The practice you are about to learn is almost never described publicly.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Kanye West, now known as Ye, is one of the best-selling musical artists in the world. He has also in recent years become a celebrated and very highly paid fashion designer. And of course, for a decade, he was well known to TV audiences as an in-law of the Kardashian family. But it's West's latest incarnation as a kind of Christian evangelist that brought us to his office in Los Angeles today for the interview you're about to see. Days ago, during Fashion Week in Paris, West, accompanied by his friend Candace Owens, unveiled a t-shirt that read simply, "White Lives Matter." The response from the fashion industry and international media was instantaneous and uniform: shock, horror, rage. "There is no excuse for this," thundered the New York Times. "West is legitimizing extremism," shrieked Rolling Stone, etc., etc. What was strikingly missing from the coverage, however, was any explanation for why West did this. What was the t-shirt about? No one seemed to think to ask him, much less to listen to what he had to say. Instead, the enemies of his ideas dismissed West, as they have for years, as mentally ill, too crazy to take seriously. "Look away, ignore him. He's a mental patient. There's nothing to see here." But is West crazy? You can judge for yourself as you watch what we're about to show you. He has his own ideas, we can say that. Creative people tend to. That's why they're artists, not actuaries. His free-form social media posts give the impression of a man channeling his rawest emotions.
I mean, a lot of artists get looked at as crazy or insane because they view things a different way. You know, it's interesting. The most talented artists out there are the most off-minded people.
Emotions right onto Instagram. The effect can be jarring and is often used as ammunition against him in the battle for influence over the minds of America's young people, and that battle is intense. But crazy? That was not our conclusion. In fact, we've rarely heard a man speak so honestly and so movingly about what he believes. But again, you can judge for yourself. Here it is. So you just came from Paris Fashion Week. You just landed, and the lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life.
See, what I noticed, or what I've seen this video before this interview. He seems, I don't know, just like off. Like he's very, like, holding himself together, it seems like.
Pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen, I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that...
Kind of seems like they had an argument previous to the interview, and then he's trying to make it seem like they're all right, but still being confrontational in a way.
There's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. that 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way? When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I liked Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over.
See, that's interesting, because I'm neither anti-Trump or pro-Trump, but anytime you try to invoke thought into something from both sides, like say, hey, yo, always taking a perspective that there's always another side to something. When it comes to Trump and people are anti-Trump, they do not want to hear that, and they do not want to see that, and you become the enemy, and you are the worst person in the world to them. It's very interesting.
They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, you know, okay, green light me then. You know, God builds warriors in a different way. I don't know if it's because of me being born in Atlanta and growing up on the south side of Chicago that, you know, he made me for such a time like this. It's like with David, you know, he tended to the sheep, but while he was out there, he had to fight all kinds of animals. So when it was time for Goliath to come, he thought because he was a sheep herder that he didn't have the skill set to take down Goliath. And the thing that I have is the position, I have my heart, but the number one thing is we have God on our side. And for the people, even if you don't believe in God, God believes in you.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter t-shirt, which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin. Yeah. She was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles, and we are in a battle with the media. Like the majority of the media has a godless agenda, and their jokes in that work, and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy, and all these things, they don't work because the media has, you know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they stay quiet about it.
What have they?
I want to answer the white. Yeah. I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Harding about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, "Dad, why do you think it was funny?" He said, just a Black man stating the obvious. Yeah. And, you know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music, and he's like super educated. We opened up a water distribution center in the Dominican Republic together. He's like the original Steve Jobs, but he was getting blocked every which way with all of his ideas. And he didn't have an endless bank account, and he didn't have Instagram. So all these ideas, he had to like take them back and compress them. Like, my dad is the most brilliant person that I know, and we actually have a strained relationship because I was taken from him, because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal. And my dad would see certain things and say, you know, we should do it this way, we should do it that way. And the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, you know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. So I know you give these questions, and I give you like these 3-part answers. Is this a cool format for you?
Yeah, I love it.
Following? Okay, cool.
And I am following it.
All right.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt, White Lives Matter, it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that's my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah. Why do you think that's so, and I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that would be considered controversial?
Do you want to grow your YouTube channel? Do you want to earn more views, more subscribers, more watch time?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have. My dad grew up as a military brat, and his family moved around, but they were based mostly in Delaware. And at the time, if they weren't the only black family, they were one of the few. And he would be discriminated against because he was black. So by the time he got into college, he would be discriminated against. He went to a black college, he would be discriminated against because they said he talked too white.
Yes.
And then he played the kick drum in the band. So when he would go to the club and the music was playing, where would he clap his hands? Where the kick drum is.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of where everyone else was clapping their hands. And this is the most elegant and tasteful person that I know. And when my mom, when the school suggested, like, the herding systems, because what they do is take the black community and they separate us, and they separate the families, and the educated, they push this, need for higher education, and us as blacks, we discriminate against each other and say, well, I got my PhD and you don't have your PhD, so I'm better than you. And so my mom, she had a PhD, and she was influenced to move to the south side of Chicago and take this job at Chicago State University. And she told my dad, if you come for us, you'll never see him again. Because, the media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's how I knew that my mom had said that to him. I said, Dad, they moved us to one of the most agreed upon to be one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's almost like they tried to kill me or something. I said, Dad, why'd you never come to get us? And that's when he told me that she was told that. There's so many things that are put in Kim's head. They bring influencers, like, no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. these people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion. And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all times telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, you know, like a Russell Brand or Candace Owens,
right.
It's not that we have to agree with this, but
they're not afraid.
They're not afraid to state what their opinion is.
Yes.
No one is God, and everyone has an opinion.
So
definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I wanted to watch this one too. Where was it?
When I first started Eve, I was a minor, and I was
Why'd you change it?
And as always, I'll put the links in the description.
Sir. In and of itself, there's no question about the man's artistry and mastery. I got 2 generations of people in my family that love his music. But it's not about his music right now. Most recently, it was announced that he is making a bid or a deal at some stage to acquire the conservative social media platform Parler, which is right now offline. Why? Is this because he was kicked off Twitter and Instagram? Is that what it's about? Let's discuss the relevance and the resonance with the man himself, Kanye West. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, but I want you guys to hear me and see me. Can you hear me and see me?
I can. I see you. You're in the back of a car. You got a hoodie and a hat on.
Okay, cool. I see the double. All right. You guys are supposed to be made aware to use my legal name, Ye. I've changed my name like how Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali. I'm sure you guys didn't mean it as any disrespect, but Anissa on the Chiron changed my name to Ye. You can say formerly known as Kanye West if you like to, but my name is Ye.
Why'd you change it?
Sir, I need to have the name changed.
We'll change it.
Yeah, but
We'll change it. I'm asking you, why'd you change it? Just so people can understand.
Well, actually, I don't owe people an explanation to start off with. I have the right to change my name. I have the right in America to vote on whoever I want to vote on. We have certain rights where, as celebrities and even as the black voting bloc, as they call it, the black vote, are forced to, always talk about their finances, always talk about their names. But it was really, the name West is a slave name. And I wanted to free myself of all of the older mentality. That is the reason I'm telling you that.
Understood. Understood and appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so let's go. Now, what's the questions we got?
So, first one is, where you are, there is curiosity. You said that you're going to meet with the former president this week. Is that why you're traveling right now?
No, I'm actually going to meet with the CEO of Parler right now.
So that's real, that deal. You think it's going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
And why do you want Parler?
Well, the CEO is just really incredible. Like what he's been able to do. Like even before we discussed me taking ownership of it, he was able to get it unbanned off of Google and off of Apple. So people had there were some people who worked in social media that hit my people immediately saying that the app was banned, but it wasn't the case. He actually had worked on removing the ban on it. And why would I remain in a place where I'm just tolerated, why not go to a place where I'm celebrated? It's actually something Kid Rock just gave me a text about that. Go to places where you're celebrated, not where you're just tolerated. You know, I bring a lot of attention to these platforms, to Instagram and to Twitter, and they silo you. They shadow ban you. Everyone knows I was shadow banned on Instagram. People would go and say, hey, you know, he's running the algorithm, whatever term they use. And then I'd see on my Instagram that I had only reached 30 million people. And that's because Instagram is, was purchased by Mark Zuckerberg, who, from what I can see, has a left agenda. So people are using their technology to silo any messaging that they don't agree with.
So couldn't it also be that you have said things that offend the community guidelines, like anti-Semitic comments and things that are seen as insensitive and potentially threatening to communities that we try to protect?
Well, I don't like the term anti-Semitic. It's been a term that's allowed people, specifically in my industry, to get away with murder sometimes, literally, and get away with robbing and doing bad people. People always say, I got screwed on a deal. Would that come as a surprise to you if I said, hey, a music exec screwed someone on a deal? Does that sound kind of like normal, commonplace to you? So for me,
it doesn't have anything to do with being anti-Semitic unless you believe that all record producers are Jewish, or, it's when you talk about Jewish people specifically as targeting them that creates a problem.
It's anti-Semitic, but I don't believe in that term. One thing is, Black people are also Jew. I classify as Jew also, so I actually can't be an anti-Semite. So the term is actually, it's not factual. But
I understand you think that, but I don't think that's a common understanding that Black people can say whatever they want about Jewish people.
Well, I'm willing to talk with inside the common understanding until we get the truth. The common understanding more oftentimes than not, nowadays, is not the truth. All right, so think about this. But let's just take a woman could have one bad man in her life that can make her dislike men. Mm-hmm. Let her have 2, let her have 3, let her have 4. There's got to be over 10 times that I've been screwed or bad business has been done with me just in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years alone. And what I'm doing, I'm calling the Jewish community as a whole to say, people say to me, oh, we grew up on Ye. And talk to your brothers. Ask them, why is Ye upset? Everybody, all they want to do is silence and shoot the messenger.
Yeah, but you have to understand how...
Wait a second, you have to understand I'm not finished, sir.
All right, but you already made a point that I need to deal with, but go ahead. Let me know when you're done.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I don't mean to be rude on your show. Thank you for the platform. Everyone wants to shoot the messenger. And you look at how your point was going to start. You have to understand. But the thing is, the Jewish people that I'm talking about don't have to understand. And that is that privilege that I'm not going to allow. When I wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt, the Jewish underground media mafia already started attacking me. They canceled my 4 SoFi Stadium shows, right? They had the press, the same people, the 78 outlets that when I was arguing with Pete Davidson and Trevor Noah, they call me an abuser for arguing with people about my ex-wife and my family and when I get to see my kids and when I don't. And they just immediately disrespect me. They keep the crazy narrative going. They never call me a billionaire. We never talked about, even on this one right here, hey, tycoon, billionaire, visionary, inventor. These are never used.
That is crazy. Kanye is a billionaire.
New York Times or Wall Street Journal, whatever, they always say the rapper. It was hard enough for us to get fashion designer. I'm gonna give a pause so you can address what you want to address.
Appreciate it. So, look, there is no Jewish media cabal, mafia. that is a figment of either your imagination or a projection of a prejudice, okay? You may have had bad business dealings with people. It's about those people.
That's
it's not about their religion or faith. And I know that you are intelligent and understand that when you target...
See, now, it may not be known, it may not be widely understood, but just like Freemasons, Illuminati, secret society type echelons, there very well could be a Jewish type that runs a part, if not a good majority, of music industry. I mean, you hear about certain mafia groups running the film industry in Hollywood. I mean, how far-fetched is that?
People because of their faith. Other people may do so the same. They've been targeted before. They've been abused and killed because of what they believe and who they are. So we don't want to tolerate that. And you're playing into that right now, whether you know that or not.
I won't tolerate it as a black person. What you just said was a statement. You're trying to say that there isn't a collective. Over 50% of the executives in Hollywood, the CEOs, are Jewish. And these guys know each other.
That's different than saying it's a mafia and that they act as Jews in some way, as opposed to just being businessmen. One plays to a prejudice, the other one just plays to people and an ugly business, which is what the record business is. So you can have your feelings about it, just don't ascribe it to their faith.
Earlier, no, wait a second. You can't tell me what to do or feel, first of all.
I know, but I can tell you what is wrong about what you say.
No, you said that it's not a mob.
That's your perception.
Mob culture.
That's your feeling.
Here's the idea of a mob. People target. There's no term. Have you ever heard the term the white vote? Because there isn't a white vote, because white people can vote the way they want. Black people, we fought. My grandparents, my mother fought in civil rights. My grandfather drove the first march out of Oklahoma. My mother used to work for Jesse Jackson at Operation Push. My dad was a Black Panther. My family are freedom fighters, and we fought for the right to vote. You realize when I wore a red hat that my life was threatened?
I know.
By my Jewish managers, by my Jewish lawyer, by my Jewish accountant,
your lawyer
by my
and
Jewish
your accountant
friends inside the
your
music
life?
industry, he said not specifically the accountant, but there were many people who threatened my life. Also, my family was torn apart off of my political opinion because of my ex-wife's attachment to the Clinton administration. I mean, they were getting my ex-wife to push the vaccination. I didn't realize how attached they were to the left agenda when I was
Vaccinations
there.
are not a left agenda. Yay.
Okay, I understand. Okay, not specifically the vaccinations, but period, that they're on Zoom calls during COVID with literally Biden and Kamala and Chris Paul and all kind of people, celebrities, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, all these same group of people that come and attack me for what they call wrong think groups,
And look, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to say what people want you to say, but you have to understand and accept what people will and won't tolerate.
I don't have to understand or accept because they're not willing to understand or accept. And that's the reason why I'm not backing down. People have had their careers destroyed. That's why they keep on saying, oh, well, yeah, Ye's dangerous because he will keep talking. He will keep talking.
You say. It's when you say Jewish people own the black vote. When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
The black voice.
These are not things that you can say coming from a place of intelligence or love or anything productive.
I mean, it is kind of far. I need to listen to what he said again. Let's listen to that again.
I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
The
black vote.
Because he will keep talking. He will keep talking.
You say. It's when you say Jewish people own the black vote. When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Yeah, I mean, the whole DEFCON 3 doesn't really make sense either, being that DEFCON 1 is the worst, and that's why DEFCON 3.
black voice.
But,
These are not
I mean,
things that you can say coming from a place of intelligence or love or anything productive.
I'm coming from a place of love and a place of we're not gonna be owned by the Jewish media anymore. If you think about every celebrity,
Kanye.
if you look at their contract, and I'm gonna finish what I'm saying.
I know, but
if
you,
look at
you have to understand this idea of the Jewish media. That's not how it works. You're talking to me right now.
So every celebrity,
Go ahead.
every celebrity has Jewish people in their contract. This is not hate speech. This is the truth. And these people, if you say anything out of the line with the agenda, then your career could be over.
Listen,
so
I hear you. You've made that point.
Cutting off my point?
Because the point is because
why do you keep?
Yeah,
sir,
here's why.
Don't cut me off, sir. Respect my
I've
point.
listened to it. You've made it several times.
No, I'm not finished, sir.
I understand.
all right, so he's going with the whole Jewish mob media. Let's look into see what we can find about this, or if there's anything. Look at Jewish American organized crime, Prohibition, World War II, Russian, Israeli, United States, and Israel. Several noticeable American mobsters, Jewish American, provided financial support for Israel through donations. I mean, that makes sense. Israel being the motherland, them wanting to help it out. I didn't think I was going to find anything, but you never know. I mean, there might be somebody else that's done a story, or it's just, when you're dealing with entertainment industry or music industry, you always hear about these conspiracies where these things about like the Illuminati run it, and if you ever want to get up there, you've essentially got to sell your soul, and if you don't, you're never going to get up there, and they're going to do things to bring you back down. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of evidence and things you can find that back that. And to say that there isn't a Illuminati or secret societies like Freemasons is just stupidity. Because you can find it all day, every day, if you really want to look it up. And I have past school members, people on Facebook that are Freemasons, part of that society. Really interesting. I don't know. I feel bad that everyone wants to attack Ye for having such open opinions upon things, but in the same instance, he's drawn a lot of negative attention to him. Now, I've got friends and associates on Facebook that are posting about this, saying that he really is pushing for the actual truth, the hidden truth. And throughout the years of talking to many different types of individuals, including African American, Africans from Africa that came over here, Muslims, Uyghurs from China, there's huge energy / money put into manipulating the mainstream media or people to thinking a certain way into things, when in actuality it happened this way. For example, the legalization of marijuana, and the fact that there's so many other things that are worse than it. Weed is not a drug, you know, it comes from the earth, it's natural, but there's, you know, heroin, cocaine, meth, crank, so many other things, fentanyl, that are 10 times worse. When it comes down to marijuana, for the longest time, it's a schedule just as bad as those. And as manipulation slash, we want the people to view marijuana this way because of, I don't know the actual reasoning, but there's speculation that it was because hemp was $1 billion product back then, and they didn't want it to turn away from paper. And so Hearst in California decided to start a propaganda campaign about it. How it got nationwide and how everybody got onto that same agenda and just ran away with it until now. And now finally, in the last 5-10 years, we finally realizing how good weed is, marijuana, hemp, and how many things you can do with it, not just smoke it. CBD, I mean, hemp, you can make so many things out of it. It's 10 times stronger than bamboo. You can make clothes out of it. There's so many things. It's crazy. And that's all manipulating our perception towards certain things for an agenda. Because either someone's making billions of dollars off this and they don't want it to go to that, or sometimes it's just a personal agenda and something happened to a family member because they were on that, and so now every other person in the world is bad that's on that too. It's crazy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I may do a reaction video on the whole interview or Ye did. I should correct that. I hope you enjoyed this. Go ahead and comment what you think, whether you agree with Kanye, Ye, or whether you disagree. Much love. It's Kaotic TV. Peace out.